Good morning everyone, and welcome here to the Bushveld or the Lowveld. Many different names for this area, but big welcome to South Africa and to Djuma Game Reserve and Tuza Game Reserve here in Sabi Sands. It's a beautiful morning. We've been sitting with these elephants for a few minutes. They're nice and relaxed, a little group, and they are heading into thick stuff, so we might not stay with them too long, but let's have a last look at them. It's a beautiful morning here in South Africa. Very pleasant temperature, about sort of mid to high 20s, about 75, 77 Fahrenheit, somewhere in that range. Lots of sounds and lots of noise. Franklin's calling. Young elephant in a good mood as well. They're enjoying this cooler weather. And we're going to be having a lot of fun again today, as always. My name is Peter Pretorius. VM is behind the camera. And it's our pleasure to have you as our guest for this morning's game drive. Let's have a look at these guys. He's having a look at us. It's a young bull, this looks like. And that'll be the matriarch in the back. So remember this female from somewhere along the line. Just looking at those tusks, you can see her right hand side tusk is a bit sort of lower down than the left. Elephants are eating a lot of this bush at the moment. This, what he's eating there is a sickle bush. I was joking the other day, we tend to always call it Landrovius flattarius because of the spines that give vehicles flat tires every so often, but the sickle bush, so of the elephants we've been watching the last few days, very often I'm noticing that that's what they're eating. Now, sickle bush, interestingly enough, for people, you can use it to help for heartburn if you chew those leaves. Very sort of alkaline, bitter taste. So maybe with the change in the climate at the moment, or the change with the season, really, got a bit of greenery coming out, and especially in the leaves, lots of new green food for them to eat. So perhaps together with the new food, that sort of alkaline type leaves is handy for them as well, or it works well for them. It is still early, so as I said, there can be many things that could happen this morning. We had fantastic wild dog yesterday. I know we had a very, very happy Hayden Turner on safari, and lots of Ellies. Look at that stunning eye, beautiful early morning light. So the wild dogs might be around if we're lucky. Always looking for lion. And of course, always looking for leopard and everything else. We had a giraffe earlier while we were looking around. We've seen zebra already, impala. So I'm sure this is going to be, as always on safari, a beautiful morning. Out on drive as well this morning is James. He will say hello to you in a little bit. And of course, Scott and Brent and the trackers out there looking for things, show you on the walk, as well as tracking what might be around. And there's only a small window twice a day that you can show this. In fact, only once a day that you can show this, since the other one would be a sunset. Look at that. That could be quite nice just like that. Beautiful sky as well. Even though there's a little bit of cloud on the horizon, the sun is making a beautiful, what would we call that, orb this morning. But that's our setting. What a place to be driving around. Even just like this, it would have been amazing. Never mind the fact that we can find leopard and lion and zebra and giraffe, all kinds of game. We might have another look at that one just now. This is quite a special sun this morning. Find another window through the trees perhaps. Oh, that's nice. Let's try this one. how's that? We could even maybe do a little, might have to position the car exactly for this. That's actually perfect. I love all the layers here, from the tree right in the back all the way back towards us. You have this twig almost in the foreground here, and all of it green, all of it rich with the promise of summer around the corner. So that's stunning. Speaking of time, being sunrise, just a reminder, we are doing some rehearsals this morning, so this will be a shortened drive. Oh, that's beautiful. Early morning in the bush. My favorite time, my absolute favorite time. Guys, and just a reminder, we are going to be doing rehearsals. We'll confirm again, but as the plans go now, from 6 o'clock our time, so about 25 minutes from now, we will be off air for the rehearsals. But trust me, it's going to be worth your while when we come together with all of this. But for now, we're going to continue looking around and enjoy the early morning with James. We'll see you back in a bit.
Good morning everybody. Welcome to the Wendy, and Peter has just shown you magnificent sunrise and also a number of magnificent elephants, and we are going to do the same in reverse order. Just over there, a little herd of elephants right next to the vehicle. My name is James Henry, for those of you who don't know. And on camera today we have Brian. Say hello, Brian.
Hello.
That's not Brian, that's an elephant. Very sweet. And just to remind you, we've only got half an hour with you before we have to go to our rehearsals. I feel like I'm on the West End at the moment. We'll be leaving you in just over probably 20 minutes at this stage. So get your questions in, hashtag Safari Live if you like, or questions at WildEarth.tv, and we will restore normal service next week on Wednesday. Well, in fact, we'll have pretty normal service from Tuesday. And as they're running off into the next door property, which is called Buffels Hook, GJ in Southern California, you want to know if elephants ever sneeze. GJ, I imagine they probably do. I think people sneeze when their nasal mucosa gets slightly irritated. That's the bits internally, and elephants have got that sort of thing in there. I wouldn't like to be in the way of an elephant that sneezed. I imagine it would be a fairly disgusting experience. I couldn't tell you exactly if they sneeze or not. I would assume that there would be some mechanism of clearing out the nose, though. Perhaps they just blow it and trumpet loudly, and that gets rid of whatever it is that is irritating them in the nose. I'm in about 7 mines at the moment. The tracks of the wild dogs that we had yesterday are around here, and they don't seem to head back into Buffels Hook. So I'm sorely tempted to turn around and go back towards the Vuyatela Dam, but Buffels Hook Dam is just up ahead, and so I think that's probably what we'll do. We'll probably head towards there. Once we're over this dip, you may lose our signal briefly, but we'll hand you back to Peter if that does happen. Here we go. So I'm looking very carefully at the ground to see if I can see any tracks. Most magnificent sunrise we had today. The clouds went beautiful pink. If you see me looking behind you like that, it's because I'm hoping desperately to see a pack of wild dogs herring across the boundary into Juma. that magnificent? It's just very special to be able to experience something like that just about every day. Wow. It's not a bad little drive to work, really.
Hello everyone. Well, in fact, I'm actually going to turn around to show you to show you while we turned around. So I'm talking to Brent there, and Ephraim is starting as well. We're just here close to Juma Camp still, or WildEarth Camp as well. And as I said, Brent and Scott are out there looking around as well. They just picked up some tracks. Well, actually the same ones just further back. I'll show you quickly. We haven't found the animal yet, so always nice to know what could be around, especially in the mornings. You know, I say this often, I love the morning drives, and I really do, partly because when it's so hot summertime it's nice and cool, but also the mornings it's always a bit more of a blank canvas, if you want. You don't have much of an idea what to expect. In the afternoons you often have the updates from the morning. In this case, these are the tracks that the guys are going to follow up on, that I'm hoping we might find the individual who made them. I'll show you there. That one and that one, those two tracks. That's the front foot, that's the back foot. You can see from the scale that the front foot is slightly smaller. And unfortunately there's no sunlight on it yet, so you can't see the exact details, but this is from a leopard, and not just from any leopard. This is from Karula, from the female leopard that we see around here very often. So good chance that she's around. She walked up the road from Philemon's Dip. This is about actually where she turned. That's the last track on the car track, if you want, going into this area. So she's around, or has been around. Obviously we're not going to mind to see her. Around. People always think of big cats, especially of leopard, as nocturnal. Which obviously they are quite active at night as well, but they are very active, like almost everything else, in this sort of change between night and day, whether it's in the morning or the afternoon. So sort of the last bit of the afternoon daylight going into evening, and then the sort of early grey time, you know, before the sun comes up, going into the morning. So there's always a good chance of not only finding leopard, but finding leopard being active for another hour or two after sunrise, which is obviously exactly what we're hoping to do this morning. Let's go around this side. I don't think she's actually come out of this. I think she's still in that block, which also suggests that those tracks are quite fresh. In other words, they're not from last night, they're more from early this morning. The most important thing, maybe the second most important thing on a game drive, the most important thing is to have fun, is to enjoy it. But the second most important thing is to always look around, look for tracks, but also look around for things. There might be a leopard there and you're not going to see it if you're not looking, so it's always good to pay attention to what's going on around you, as long as you're having fun doing it. Yes, very good question. That's exactly what Leishan asked me last night. Debbie, Barbara, good morning. As always, nice to have you on the game drive with us. And let's just look at that again. Let's just. Oh, Jiga. We're having a special Jiga experience. Jiga is this vehicle's name, the Land Rover I'm in. But we're doing a brakeless game drive this morning, so there's no stopping us. And Debbie and Barbara, you were asking, will there be a sunset safari? Yes, there will be a full afternoon sunset safari. We'll do a little, pretend we're on a track here for you, Liam. So this afternoon, 4 o'clock Central African time, we'll be going out. Please join us for all of that. And as always, also, thank you very much for always being so understanding of all of this. This is the great thing about having people that are so involved, would be the right word, you know, that are so invested with us in terms of the experience, is that you understand all these things as well. And trust me, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, mornings our time, so Monday evenings and Tuesday evenings if you're in North America. It's going to be a good show. NatGeo Wild, and of course everyone else anywhere else in the world can join us as well on wildsafariLive.com or WildEarth.tv. A what? A stork fight. Well spotted, Liam. Morning, Pam. Sorry, VM was just, as always, a great spot.
Hello everybody, we've just checked Biffle's Hook waterhole, nothing there. Well, there were 2 saddle-billed storks, and they were enjoying a sumptuous sunrise and possibly the odd disgusting catfish, which I'm quite glad I don't have to eat for breakfast. And we are now back onto the Biffle's Hook cut line so that I may just check that the wild dogs haven't come across again or are not in the process of or not in the process of doing so as we speak. There were also indications, by that I mean reports from the Bush Telegraph, that the Salala Pride crossed south into Biffle's Hook last night. Now, Biffle's Hook is the property to the north of us, and obviously the Salala Pride is unencumbered here. So we're patrolling this boundary like some border guards, hoping to find something heading across here. And that's not to say there isn't anything on Juma, but for now.
Hello again. There's the bird boxing we were talking about, although they seem to have sorted out their differences. This is the pair again, and these are Egyptian geese. Saying hello to the world. There's a bit of contention here, it seems, as well. We basically have only this little pond of water, so as we know, there's going to be lots of activity around it from the bigger animals, but also the Egyptian geese. There's 2 different pairs here that are sort of maybe vying over territory a little bit, and the 2 males, I think, most likely were just having a bit of a go at each other. Pam from Florida. Good morning, Pam. So nice to hear so many names that we've known for a long time now. So, Pam, you were just asking if I got the question correctly. You were asking whether you should watch it on television or on the internet. Maybe I'm a bit old school, but if it's on TV, I watch it on TV. Just one less button to push, I guess. But Pam, the broadcast is only in the USA. So obviously Florida, you will get it. And it will be a little bit late for you in Florida. It's in sort of perfect time on the west coast. East coast will be a little bit later in the evening. And also there will be the internet drives before and after that as well. So on NatGeo Wild USA, you will be able to see that drive, but there will be going into that as we do now, and coming out of the TV show as well. So for those of you in other parts of the world who can't watch it straight on the
Hello again, and here we are, still bumbling along the Buffels Hook cut line. Elephants are now in front of us, the same ones that we saw when you first saw us. They were right where I am now, and still hoping fervently to see some kind of carnivore leaping across the boundary, preferably going to the left. That's into Juma. This is actually a different herd of elephants. See, the female in front there has only got one tusk. We'll stop here and watch these elephants and have a bit of a listen. See if we can hear the terrified calls of an impala or two as they are harassed by the wild dogs. Little one there. You can see the tusks have just erupted there. So everybody, I'm afraid that's the end of your game drive today. I do apologise once again, but we do need to practice things so that they're tip-top shape for our TV broadcast next week. So thank you once again for your patience in this regard. Just to remind you, 13th and 14th, 6 o'clock our time in the morning, 6 to 7, so that's 12 o'clock in the night on Monday in the east coast of America. I'm going to leave you to work out the rest of the times from there. It's all rather confusing to me, especially as apparently daylight savings is about to end. So 12 o'clock East Coast time on the 13th and 14th. We will have a full normal broadcast this afternoon from 4 o'clock here, and so you don't need to worry about that. And we'd love to have you along for that ride. We'll just spend the last few minute I think at this stage, with these lovely elephants. And a big thank you from Peter and Hayden and from the team at Final Control. Big thank you for your patience, and we will see you this afternoon, hopefully with some good news about those lions and those wild dogs. And please keep following us on the tweet. We will send through various tweets. Follow us on the website and perhaps just watch the Juma Dam cam if you like. The Arathusa camera is also up, and it's going to be a hot day with plenty of activity around that water. It's only, well, the sun's just peeped up over the horizon, and it's already what we might term fairly beastly hot. Brian is just about to take his jersey off, which means it must be almost molten. Wherever you are in the world, please stay safe and happy. Sorry that we're not going to spend a bit more time with you, but we will see you this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye from all of us here at Wild.